Namaste and a very warm welcome, Professor Manjula. A very warm
Namaste,
welcome
Mohanty.
to the
Namaste,
very
Mohanty.
warm
Thank
welcome to
you
the
so
fifth
much. Thank
National
you.
Workshop on Empowerment of Youth 2022. We are very happy to have you in our midst, and we will be hearing from you very interesting things on enabling students to pull themselves up through loving Bharat and serving Bharat. So that's a very interesting topic, and I'd like to welcome all the viewers who are here and who are going to be here later. A very warm welcome to you all, and I would like to share that Professor Manjula is a professor of history. She works in a college in Bengaluru, Adarsh College. She has been teaching for the past 16 years. She has been um, a very strong votary of helping people to enable themselves, manifest the latent powers within themselves. More so in light of what Swami Vivekananda has been talking about all these 100 plus years. So, Professor Manjula, the stage is all yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mohanji, for inviting me to this show. Thank you, really, because speaking on Swami Vivekananda is really what to say. I will feel uh, overwhelmed when I speak about Swami Vivekananda. And you have invited me today, and thank you so much. And to the viewers also. And this is the first time that I am coming on this show. But let me share some of my experiences because I have been with young people, children, students for about 15 to 16 years now. So, as I was very much inspired by Swami Vivekananda, so I thought the children whom I meet every day, whom I am amidst hundreds of students, so when I look at them, I used to feel that even these students should read Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji's teaching, Swamiji's life is so inspiring that I used to think that even these students would get inspired. And I used to casually talk with students and tell them, look, you have to read Swami Vivekananda's teachings, life you should know, and what he did to our nation, especially during freedom struggle, freedom movement. And not only that, he cuts across nationalities. And when you go out, when you become professionals, when you go out of the country, so you should not forget your roots. And I used to tell all these things to my students. But once what happened, one girl came to me, a very sincere student, a very obedient student, but she used to work hard, but she never used to score good marks. The grades were really very low. And I used to tell her, why is this so, and all that. In the beginning, she never used to answer. She used to tell, no, ma'am, I couldn't study, and all that stuff. But when I started asking more and more questions, the reality came out. She said, look, ma'am, my grandparents have not gone to any school. My parents have not gone to any school. And I studied in a Kannada medium school. And this is in my DNA. This is in my genes. So I'm not able to study well. I can't understand anything. And therefore, I'm getting these marks. So, I mean, there is no use. I just study and I don't really expect to uh, do well in exams or tests. And these marks don't surprise me at all, ma'am, because it is in my DNA. It is in my genes. So I won't get good marks at all. So it doesn't surprise me, ma'am. Why are you so much worried? And I have given up. And I have given up. So whatever marks I get, I'll be happy. Then I thought, what is this? We being teachers, if we cannot help these students, then why are we teachers? This was the question in. Then I called her. Look, you might have studied in a Kannada medium school, no problem. I'll give you one Kannada book. You read that. Then you come back to me. After reading this book, you come back to me. Then we will talk. Then we will discuss all these things. So now let us not talk about DNA or genes or anything of that kind. So you just read this book, which is in Kannada, and you come back, get back to. Then I gave her one book, which was written in Kannada, Veera Narendra. It is about the childhood of Swami Vivekananda, Narendra, Narendranath, childhood. So in that book, in a very, very simple Kannada, the Swamiji has described the childhood of Swami Vivekananda. She went through that. She was very much inspired by that book. Within one day, she came back running. She said, "Ma'am, this book is so nice, and I can relate myself with this boy." Then I said, "Why?" Because Narendranath Datta was born in a very, very rich family, but you are from a poor family. And he was such a brilliant boy, and he never thought that these things are in my genes or DNA and all that stuff. And how can you relate to Narendranath Datta? You know what she said? This boy has got so many questions in his mind, so many problems in his mind, but he tries to solve all these things on his own. He doesn't depend on anyone. He is so independent in his thinking that all his questions are answered, all his problems are solved, ma'am. And that is really so good. And I was surprised. This girl, what, 16, 17 years old girl, thinks that he is so independent in thinking. Now, we think about women empowerment, independence, freedom. Independence in what sense? Independent thinking? That really surprised me. So then she said, I want to know more about this, ma'am. Then I gave three fat books, each one, I think, 600, 700 pages. Three fat books written in Kannada: Veera Sannyasi, Vishwa Vijeta, Vishwamanava, Vivekananda. Entire life teachings of Swami Vivekananda written in Kannada. I asked her to read these three fat books. I want to tell this because she finished reading these three books in 8 or 9 days. She finished reading these books. Sincerely, she has read because when she came back to me, I started questioning her. Look, what you read in this chapter, what you read in this chapter. Yes, she has really read all the three books, and her outlook towards studies, towards that DNA genes theory, completely changed. She scored, I think, 87 or 88, 88% in her second PUC, and now she is a police woman. She got into police force, and today she is a police woman. She comes to me, I think, once in 2, 3 months, and she says, "Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving that book." And I read Swami Vivekananda, and today look what I am. If I had not read those books, I think I would have ended up somewhere thinking that all all that happened is in my genes, is in my DNA. And the outlook, the thinking pattern changed, and Swami Vivekananda's life and teachings have that magic to change a person completely if taken sincerely. So this was a very great experience as a teacher, as a professor. When I meet students, I used to think, in case I give these books to them, how would they respond? And this is how they responded. And then I was really, no need to say, I was very happy. And I used to say, read more about Swami Vivekananda. Of course, she wants to do a research on this, and she is planning to do a research on this. And anyway, good luck to her. Then, as I went on, this was about a girl who could not get good grades. But there was a boy who used to score 95, 96% and 100 in maths. 100 always, 10% in mathematics. A very brilliant boy. One day he came to me and asked, "Ma'am, I'm so lost in this. I'm not happy that I'm scoring this kind of marks. I'm not happy, he said. Then I said, then what do you want to do? As a student, you have done whatever you have to do, whatever your parents want you to do, and you have done it successfully. Why should you feel lost in that? You know what he said, ma'am, what am I going to do with this? So I have to become either an engineer or a doctor. My father, my mother, or else my father more. My father wants me to become an wants me uh, to choose engineering after second PU, after 12th standard, and I don't want to, ma'am. And I know I'll get a seat in a very prestigious engineering college in Bangalore. And if my father insists me, I think I'll get into an engineering college and I'll become an engineer. But I'll definitely not be happy with what I have done. With these kind of marks, with this kind of grades, I'm not happy, ma'am. Just tell me what I should do. My father wants me to become an engineer and I'll become an engineer, but I won't be happy, ma'am. Just guide me now. What should I do? Because his parents are so happy that he is scoring 100 in maths and he has got such high grades, and everyone in college is so happy with him. And now he is telling, ma'am, I'm not happy. Now guide me. What should I do? Then again, I mean, without a second thought, I gave complete works of Swami Vivekananda. I presented him because he had the capacity to read all the books, all the volumes. So he had that capacity. Then I gave all the books, all books, the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, and I said, look, you read all these books. Anyway, now you have time, 3, 4 months time. You read. That boy sincerely went home, kept all the books on his table, one after the other. He started reading these books, and he did become an engineer. I tell you, he did become an engineer, but now today is a monk. He has taken sannyasa and he has become a monk. And if I say this, some people may question, look, his parents are so disappointed now. But no, the magic is he read all the books, all the volumes, and he gave those volumes to his father. His father also read all the volumes, and today both are happy. The son and the father both are happy. These are the two instances. I have come across several. So many are there. But these two, every day I remember that girl and this boy. But I can't reveal the names, the identities of these students because it's not good, because they don't like it. Whenever I say, shall I tell this? They say, no, ma'am, don't tell our names. They say. Therefore, viewers, I'm not able to tell their names or identities, but this much I can tell. The Swamiji's life and teachings has got some kind of magic in it. If you read at the right time, if one person reads the complete works or life of Swami Vivekananda, either of the two. One girl read the life, the other boy read the teachings. Complete works is full of teaching. Veera Sannyasi, Vishwamanava, Vishwavijeta in Kannada. These three books have the life of Swami Vivekananda. Either of the two, if read at the right time, I think it can change anyone's life. Anyone's life. It changed my life because even I was in a very, very conservative family. And I could change the thinking pattern of my grandparents, my parents, my brother, and of course, myself. So I, I thank Mohanji today from my heart, because Mohanji used to tell me that Swamiji's teachings can change so many lives. And do you have anyone? I used to tell, yes, Mohanji, yes, Mohanji. But today, I'm so happy that Mohanji has called me to share those two, the experiences of these two people with you. And I'm really grateful to you, Mohanji, and to all the viewers that humbly I say, If you find any student confused, please give them either the life or teachings of Swami Vivekananda.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Thank you
Professor
so
Muthiah.
much,
It's very nice.
Mohanji.
You described in just what it means to transform. But the key thing which I think I should fill in your both instances, the lady who became a police officer and the gentleman who kind of dedicated his life to serve the humanity at
Yeah,
large, both of them are actually doing loving Bharat, serving Bharat. Am I
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Both of them
yeah,
are in India. Both of them
yeah.
are dedicated.
Both of
See,
them
that
are.
is the key.
Yeah,
The point is, there is a situation that you're in as a human being. You're trying to find out who you are, what you are. Fine. But then there's something more. And that something more is you come across a teacher, an inspired teacher who gives a message of inspiration, and the
yes,
touch changes the student, which is a wonderful thing that you did.
exactly,
Okay, that's
exactly.
because you have been there, done that. See, that's the key. It's not like you preach.
No,
You have practiced it, and therefore your
yeah,
words carry weight. All that you did was you gave the right kind of things at the right time to the right person
yeah,
in the right situation.
yes.
Done. Then
Right
the magic.
time, right time. Yeah,
But the more important thing is they in turn transform themselves for what? That is where Swami Vivekananda comes in the picture. That is to
yeah, yeah,
love Bharat, serve Bharat.
yeah.
And that lady
One, the
became
girl got self confidence, and this boy started serving the society,
wonderful.
thinking that all human beings are the representatives
Divine.
of Divine Mother.
They need
Yeah,
to you need to enable them to bring out their divinity, they'll solve their problems, and
yeah,
therefore you are essentially serving the God in the human being. Beautiful. So I have a
yeah,
couple of questions on behalf of the audience. Let me kind of
yeah,
ask you these two questions.
yeah. Please.
So question number one is, of course, there are students who come to you in all sincerity and ask you, ma'am, I'm lost. Ma'am, I'm like this. Okay. And then you ask them questions to understand them. And then you kind of
Yeah,
put in the right ingredient. Like in
yes,
the
yes.
girl, you gave the right kind of Kannada books written by Swami
Yeah,
Purushottamana, if
yeah,
I'm right. And
yeah.
boy, you gave the 8 volumes of complete works. Fine.
Yes, yes,
But then, as a teacher, I'm sure in your class of 60 students or 100 students, whichever is the number,
yes.
30, 60,
Yeah,
or 100, it's like, no, there's a statistical way of representing something called the bell curve. There are
yeah,
these very fantastic boys, but they are rare in number. And then there's
yeah.
the average number of boys who are actually wasting their time and wasting
Mm,
everybody's. And then there's a small set of boys who are like they're creating havoc. Now, my
mm,
question to you, giving a book
mm.
is one part, engaging them in an activity which inspires them to transform is another
Your
part.
voice is breaking,
So,
Monji.
oh, my voice is breaking? All right.
Yes.
Okay. Giving the book is one
Ah,
part.
ah,
Okay. On the
ah.
other hand, ensuring that they are getting engaged in certain kinds of activities that you have
Mm,
designed
mm,
so that they transform themselves
mm.
into loving Bharat,
Yeah,
serving Bharat. What do you think
yeah,
are those? Because it's nice to give a book.
yeah,
It's nice to give a book.
yeah.
But
Yeah. In
when
a
you,
class,
yeah,
yeah, in a class, what happens, Monji, when I talk about Swami Vivekananda, it is part of the syllabus.
okay,
So what I do, I start explaining Swamiji's life, Swamiji's teachings. Let me tell, almost every student gets inspired. So if they come to me, I'll give the books. If they ask, ma'am, what shall I do? I'll suggest some books or I'll tell them. But what happens when this becomes part of syllabus? They will read it. They will from the point of view of examination. But what happens? Some students who are very very interested, serious, they start reading more about Swami Vivekananda, and what they do is in their life they start implementing at least 1% of what they have done. I have seen that.
okay,
So if they start running their own business, they say that, ma'am, uh, can I donate this kind of this much money to this organization? So that change I have seen in my life.
Oh,
So by the
wonderful.
time they leave college, uh, their attitude towards nation, their attitude towards seva, their attitudes towards religion, everything
Dharma,
will have changed.
dharma. That's
So
more
that I
important.
have changed. That I have seen. Because when they enter college, let me tell, unfortunately, they are so confused. They will have read things in a wrong way. They will have read wrong books. They will have
Okay,
seen wrong videos,
okay,
and not everyone will come up to me and say, "Ma'am, this is what it is. This why is this?" Not everyone, but they'll have in their mind, uh, this is something is wrong with our nation. One boy today, let me tell, today morning, I was teaching about. I was teaching them Marxism because it's part of their syllabus. Marxism and Constitution of India. He came up to me and said, "Ma'am, don't you think that British rule, not only in India, all over the world, is highly beneficial? Because of British, we became an industrialized country," he says. Whether India or any other nation, if it is an industrialized nation, then it's because of British.
okay,
Industrialization started in Britain. So, ma'am, wherever they have ruled, whichever country they have ruled, those countries we can see industrialization reached those countries. Don't you think that colonialism or British rule was good for India? This is what he asked.
very
Then
interesting.
Swami Vivekananda's teaching is also there. Then he was confused actually. Then he said this. Then he just went one step ahead and said, "Ma'am, when Swami Vivekananda went to America and said that, look, our country is so great, we have achieved so many things. Did we really achieve so many things?" This was the question. Then I can't give him a book straight away. Then I can't say, just come to the staff room, I'll give a book and all that. I can't say because right in the middle of the class, he had just asked. And all the students, they were so confused. Look, British rule is good for India. I mean, ma'am, is it really so? And then I said, look, next chapter, next topic is Swami Vivekananda. And he has said India is very great. So here's one side, he thinks that British rule is good. The other side, he thinks that Swami Vivekananda's teachings, Swami Vivekananda's opinion is completely opposite of what I think. So where am I? Was the question. Then I said, look, why did Vasco da Gama come to India? Then he said, trade. Can any person trade with a poor country? Yeah, ma'am. Then Swami Vivekananda says that we were the Vishwaguru. At one point of time, we were the Vishwaguru. Do you think that he is telling a lie? Then he said, no. Then he related, "Ma'am, have I read wrong books?" Then I said,
Very good.
yes. Just
Yes,
go home and read Swami Vivekananda first, and then read all other books that you have, those so called wrong books. Then tomorrow I'm waiting, Mohanji, because I know immediately they'll go and read. They'll Google, they'll download all the books, they'll read. Immediately they'll come. And tomorrow I'll be telling, look, Swami Vivekananda, whatever he has said is true. And whatever you have read, just compare that with what Swami Vivekananda has said. And Swami Vivekananda, you yourself know, Swami Vivekananda does not lie.
right.
So then you decide and come up to me what should be done. So this is
Wonderful.
how, because these
Wonderful.
these people are,
I appreciate. I'll tell you what. I appreciate the
yeah,
fact that you are kind of left it to the student to infer the kind of things, and of course, Swami Vivekananda is very proud Hindu, proud Indian, and proud
yes,
son of
yes, yes,
Mother India.
yes,
Okay, but I also want
yes.
to share
But
with
this
you.
confused state of affairs, because there is so much confusion
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell
across
you
the
what
world.
challenges are, and this is something which I would like to submit that not just you. Perhaps you'd like to hear it from you, though. See, there's a great need to first rewrite the history textbooks in India, and I think
Ah,
there's an effort
yeah,
that's
it's
being done in
happening.
that.
It's happening. Before
Yeah, that is point
these
one.
chapters were not there.
Yeah, point
Now they
one.
have added.
Yeah,
Yeah.
point one. Point two, you had a very pertinent question that you asked the gentleman, the young guy. Why did Vasco da Gama come to India, right? The reason
Yes.
is very
Yes.
simple. There's so much of riches in India that the Arabians and the Europeans used to get through trade, and they wanted to cut down the costs of importing,
Yes.
and they wanted to find a sea route. Therefore, they came to
Yeah.
India in a way by which they
Yes.
can
Yes.
cut the intermediaries out and do it.
Yes. Yes.
That's why the Europeans came to India. In fact, the reason
Yeah.
why Columbus went and discovered America and called them Red Indians, the people there, is because
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I
Europeans knew
told Christopher
there's more.
Columbus wanted to come to India, but he landed in America. Yeah.
Exactly.
I told him.
So, so,
Yeah.
so
Christopher
the
Columbus
point
wanted to
is,
come to India,
yes, the point is, there's a very
but he
interesting.
landed in America. And why do you
Yeah,
think he wanted to come to India? He
no,
was confused.
no, no. I'll
But
tell you what.
anyway, he accepted.
No, no, no. The point is to be able to share with him the root cause of the confusion, which is essentially that
Yeah.
there is a lot of
Yeah.
what do you call lot of um, uh, wrong information being given to the
Yes.
people.
Yes. Wrong
They
information.
have to know
And
how to do the research.
successfully, they have.
More
Mm,
important point which I
they
want to
have
mention.
penetrated classrooms. Yeah.
Yeah. More important point which I want to mention is this professor of economics in Switzerland. I think his
Um,
name starts with Maldus,
uh,
Maldus, and Maldus Andreessen. I don't know. So he
mm,
kind of mapped the GDP of the world from
mm,
about 2000 years back to the present
mm,
day. At a point of time, I think about for 75% of the time, till about the 1500s, right? Common era,
uh,
1500 Common
uh,
era,
uh.
India was having about more than 30 to 40% of the GDP claim, world GDP
Yes.
claim.
Yes. We controlled it.
China was
Yeah.
our next competitor, and India and China together were more than 60-70%.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
rest of
Yes.
the world
Exactly.
was like 5% here,
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
etc. Now,
Yes. Yes.
the key thing which needs to be brought up, and I think you are best to do that, is to share that fact that from 35-40% of the world GDP share, we have come down to
Mm,
2% during the British rule. Okay.
yes. Yes.
And the word
Yeah.
industrialization, the way
Mm,
historically it started is as though it has started in Europe and America. No, it
mm.
has actually, the trade has happened in India. And the best
Yeah. Yeah.
seaport, best natural deep sea port was in Mahizadaru, I think Dolavira
Mm,
or someplace, right? That's very
yeah. Yeah.
interesting. Very interesting.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm very glad that you are having a conversation of these kinds with the students, and this is what
Yeah.
inspired teaching is all about, and this is what serving,
Yeah.
loving Bharat is all about. So
Yeah.
on that note, I should like to say thank you very much,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Indra,
Mohanji. Thank you
and
so
it's
much
very,
for inviting me here,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
gave a
yeah.
chance to
No,
share
no,
my
no
thoughts
question of
with
chance
your
at all.
viewers.
We are just
Yeah.
enablers. You are enabling the students. We are just
Yeah.
enabling the youngsters at large. All right. That's what
Yes.
Vivekananda
Yes.
Janoththana
Yes.
Trust is all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are very happy for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
On that
Mohanji.
note, we'll
Thank
come
you. Thank you, Mohanji.
again
Thank
and
you.
we will see you soon. Okay. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.